Hidden under layers of pocket change lies the 1968 Jefferson Nickel, a coin so ordinary, yet so underestimated that its true story can change the way you look at everyday currency. Forever collectors search high and low for these nickels that tell tales of a shifting American economy, subtle mint mark mysteries, and hidden varieties worth more than you'd ever guess. Stay till the end, because you're about to unlock every detail that makes the 1968 Jefferson Nickel one of the most intriguing pieces in American coin history. The 1968 Jefferson Nickel stands as a silent witness to an era of change in the American economy, politics, and daily life. To understand its place in history, we must begin with the Jefferson Nickel series itself. Introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, the Jefferson Nickel was designed by Felix Schlag, whose vision brought the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, onto the 5-cent coin. The obverse features Jefferson's portrait facing left with the inscriptions "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year of mintage, while the reverse showcases Monticello Jefferson's iconic home. The 1968 Jefferson Nickel falls into a transitional period in American coinage. The 1960s were marked by significant changes in the composition and production of coins, as silver was removed from most denominations due to rising metal prices, although the nickel retained its traditional copper-nickel composition. Its production story holds unique twists that make the 1968 issues special. In 1968, the Philadelphia Mint stopped producing nickels altogether, which had begun in 1965 when the United States Mint opened new branch mints in Denver and San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint became a key player in the production of proof coins, while the Denver Mint took on a larger share of circulation. Strikes the 1968 Jefferson Nickel is significant because it marks the return of mint marks on United States coinage. From 1965 through 1967, mint marks were temporarily removed from all coins to deter hoarding and speculative collecting. As a result, the 1968 nickels were among the first coins since the suspension to once again display a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco. This alone makes them interesting for collectors who follow varieties and mint mark history. The San Francisco minted 1968 nickels were proof issues struck with care for collectors. These proof coins were produced with polished dies and plankets, giving them a mirrored finish that stands apart from circulation strikes. Proof coins were not intended for spending, but rather for collectors and special sets. These proof nickels bear the S mint mark and typically have sharp details and brilliant surfaces. The Denver Mint produced the bulk of the 1968 nickels for everyday circulation, bearing the D mint mark. These coins are common in pocket change, yet not all are equal in value. Condition plays a major role in determining what a 1968 Jefferson Nickel is worth. Circulated examples with wear are often worth only face value, unless they display unusual errors or varieties. However, coins found in mint state condition with full steps on Monticello command a premium. What do full steps mean on a Jefferson Nickel? Collectors pay close attention to the steps on the depiction of Monticello. On the reverse, a coin with 5 or 6 full and unbroken steps shows a strong strike and good preservation, since striking quality varied in the 1960s. Finding a 1968 D Jefferson Nickel with full steps is a challenge, and this rarity boosts its desirability among numismatists. In fact, high-grade full steps examples can bring auction prices well above their face value, especially those graded by trusted services like PCGS or NGC in Ms. 6.5 or higher condition. But rarity goes beyond just condition. Errors are another fascinating aspect of the 1968 Jefferson Nickel. These errors include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped plankets, and die cracks. One of the most sought after is a double die obverse, where design elements such as the lettering or Jefferson's profile appear double due to a misalignment during The hubbing process, these varieties, can add significant value to an otherwise common coin, making error hunting a rewarding pursuit for collectors. Turning back to history, the year 1968 itself was turbulent. For the United States, marked by the Vietnam War civil rights movements and political assassinations, the coins minted in this period circulated during a time of great social and economic change millions of Americans carried. These nickels in their pockets as they bought groceries, paid for gas, or made phone calls, each coin a silent participant in the daily lives of a nation, evolving through upheaval and progress. The design of the Jefferson nickel remained consistent until 2004, when the Westward Journey Nickel series commemorated the Lewis and Clark expedition, bringing new reverses and temporary obverse changes. Even so, the classic design with Jefferson's portrait and Monticello endures today, making the Jefferson nickel one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. For collectors, the allure of the 1968 nickel lies not only in its historical context, but also in its subtle details. A sharp eye can distinguish weak strikes from full steps, proofs from circulation, strikes, mint marks carefully placed, and sometimes misaligned errors waiting to be discovered in rolls and pocket change. Some collectors assemble complete sets of Jefferson nickels, aiming for every date mint mark and major variety spanning from 1938 to the present. The 1968 issues hold a special place, bridging the gap between the early silver era and modern clad coinage. To build a meaningful collection, it is important to understand grading. A well-graded coin not only preserves its history, but also its value. Grading agencies use criteria such as strike luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal when assigning a numerical grade from poor to perfect. Mint state 70 for proof nickels. Cameo contrast is another factor. Cameo nickels have frosted design elements that stand out against mirror-like fields, creating a striking visual effect. Deep cameo or ultra cameo designations indicate even stronger contrast and command higher premiums. Collectors looking for these distinctions should examine their proof nickels under good lighting and magnification to spot the subtle yet valuable details. Another aspect of collecting the 1968 Jefferson nickel is the thrill of roll hunting, searching through bankrolls, coin jars, and old collections. Sometimes yields surprising finds, especially when hunting for errors or high-grade examples. The low cost of entry makes the Jefferson nickel an accessible series for beginners, while still offering depth and challenge for seasoned collectors. Investing in nickels requires patience and knowledge. While common circulated examples may not appreciate significantly over time, high-grade coins, rare varieties, and significant errors can gain value as demand grows, especially as the population of top-graded examples remains small. Auction records show that the highest prices for 1968 Jefferson nickels go to Ms. 66 or better full steps coins with exceptional eye appeal or dramatic errors. Some collectors choose to slab their best finds, preserving them in tamper-proof holders that provide authentication and protection against damage. Finally, education is key to appreciating the 1968 Jefferson nickel fully. Learning about die varieties, minting techniques, historical context, and grading standards equips collectors to make informed decisions. Reputable resources include numismatic books, coin shows, online forums, and professional organizations like the American Numismatic Association. These avenues connect enthusiasts with experts and fellow collectors, building a community around the humble yet fascinating Jefferson nickel. In conclusion, the 1968 Jefferson nickel represents more than just 5 cents. It embodies a story of American history, minting evolution, and the quiet excitement of discovering hidden treasures in everyday change, whether you hold one in your hand or preserve it in a collection. Each coin invites you to look closer, ask questions, and cherish the tangible link it provides to a past that still echoes through every nickel, passed from pocket to pocket, generation to generation. So the next time you come across a Jefferson Nickel from 1968, remember its journey and yours as a collector and historian, unearthing stories that few take the time to see within the small round piece of metal that holds so much more than its face value.